All right, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carl and we're here at Uncle Carl's Worm Farm, which is actually my garage. And today we're gonna sift one of my worm bins that's ready. We're gonna sift that to get compost. I need some compost. I'm gonna show you my setup. And at the same time, while we sift that fine worm compost black gold, we're gonna start two new worm bins because I just bought two new storage bins this past week. And we're gonna start some two brand new compost bins. And this is how we do it here. Okay, there's many ways to start a compost bin. I've done different methods, and this method works best for me because it's really low maintenance, very less involved, and I'm going to show you how I do it and what I put in it to start my worm farm. All right, here we go. All right, so you can see here, these are going to be my two new worm bins. All right, they're just plastic totes. Okay, 27 gallons, 27 gallons, nothing fancy. And this is what we're going to use to start our new worm bins. And I'm just going to leave it alone. Other people would drill holes on the sides for ventilation. I've done that in the past, drill holes at the bottom to allow any excess liquid to flow down there, but that's messy. I've done that. I don't like that. Don't need it. Same thing for here. Okay. So for me, I will save all of my cardboard materials that we accrue, in the household, and I will shred them. I have what they call this cross shredder, and they'll shred them to tiny bits. Now, why is this better? Because then cutting up by hand, time and energy. We feed it through my shredder, and you get little bits like this. When you get little bits like this, you open up the surface area of these materials. So it allows them to degrade much faster and get consumed by the worm population, okay? So this is my shredder here. Nothing fancy. So we'll use this as the bedding. Some people will use like leaf litter from the outside. I don't like to do that. I don't have access to that. So I'll just save my cardboard, household like this. Soda cans, boxes, so forth, Doritos, I'll just save my cardboard. Pizza boxes and so forth, and they become like this. So we'll take this cardboard material and divide it evenly into these two new bins. All right, that's all it is. Yeah, so like I mentioned previously, I don't like to put holes in my worm bins anymore because I've found it to be unnecessary. A lot of people do that. They drill to the sides, they drill the top of the lid. I've found it very simple that we can control the moisture that's inside the bins. If it's too wet, we add more carbon material, which for me is cardboard, paper products, and so forth. That's all we need to do to control the moisture. So drilling holes is unnecessary, okay? There are other methods too that commercial worm farms are widely available online. You go to Amazon and so forth. There's a lot of different companies out there that have these commercial worm bins. Some of them are stackable, okay? Some of them are just a fabric mesh, which really is nothing more than what we can do with like a tall trash bin, right? That's all that is. And with that that setup that I'm thinking of where it's fabric mesh, at the bottom, there's a way to open it. So that's usually when the worm farm is mature, you have a buildup of worm castings at the bottom. You can open the bottom of that worm farm and extract finished compost. Totally unnecessary. So I'm going to show you here with this worm bin that I have that's been running for at least 6 months since I last harvested it, okay? And it works. A simple tote bin like this costs less than $10. Matter of fact, the two that I just bought was $7.99 each, okay? So I bought two, And I'm going to show you how we start my worm bin. All right, here we go. All right, as you can see, my bins are untouched, no holes. I don't do any of that. I'll just divide these evenly. Pour the cardboard down there. Dump them in the new storage bins. Okay. That is it. That is it. And like I said, I just saved my cardboard materials that I get, you know, from Amazon to pizza boxes, you know, food cardboard, like from the sodas. I just save them and shred them. Okay. Now these materials are dry. Okay. So what we have to do is we need to add water. We need to add moisture to these cardboard, okay, before they become, before we introduce worms. Because the moisture allows to introduce bacteria to the carbon. And when we introduce the bacteria, when we add the castings, which will come from here. Okay, so this is the worm bin that's ready to be sifted. This is our sifter. This is like a 1/8 inch holes there. And then we're gonna sift them into this bucket, 5-gallon bucket. And then as we sift, the leftover material just goes unsifted. The unfinished material, that includes worms, cocoons, we're just gonna dump them into the new worm bins. All right, and that's going to introduce the beneficial bacteria, the microbes, to colonize the carbon material, the cardboard. It allows them to colonize, and we're going to be able to start up new worm bins. We're going to introduce worms, cocoons, and existing worm compost to colonize these new bins, and that's how we start a new worm farm. Okay. But before we do that, I need to add water to these cardboard material so we can get them nice, wet, and moist. I've done quite a few sifts already and transferred it to the new worm bin, okay, my starter bin. So I just wanted to focus and zoom in a little bit, okay, what I'm actually transferring. So what I'm transferring are unfinished cardboard, which is the carbon, okay, and these castings that are not as fine enough to actually be sifted through. And on top of that, we're adding worms. Worms right there. I use red wigglers, okay. All of my worms are red wigglers, okay. They do a good job. They're pretty much all weather and easier to source here in the US. You can see, so this is what we're transferring to the new starter bins. And all of these have the microbes. It'll colonize the new carbon material there, okay. It's a seed of some sort from something unfinished. So all of this is what's going to be transferred over to the starter bin, okay. And I'm finding a lot of young worms in this bin. Young worms. This one, you know, maybe a month or two old, but what makes them young, immature, aside from the size, is the clitellum. The clitellum is that band. It doesn't have one yet. So a lot of immature worms, which is good because they'll mature, create eggs. You know. Finding a lot of really 1 week old type worms here, you know, look at that. I've found some that are much smaller than this. Okay, so we're coming along. I'm probably finishing up with the first worm bin. I'm probably only going to do 2 more siftings on this bin, okay, and then I'll focus on the second one. So when we take the material right here, dump it, okay, dump it in there. Let's mix them up a little bit. Okay, and that's it. That's all I do to start a new worm bin. So the worms that are here, a lot of them are immature because they don't have the clitellum. They're gonna, my goal is they're gonna mature, breed in here, create more cocoons, and start a healthy population on its own in this bin, and also in the second one over here too. And then my pre-existing one that I have, so as I sift some more into here, we're gonna decrease the amount of castings, and then I'll add some more cardboard, okay? So what's happened is we've transferred a lot of the worms into the new bins so they can start their own colonies there, and then I'll add more cardboard. And with that, I've created 2 new worm bins, and it'll allow this bin to regrow, replenish their population, okay? And that is it. All right, so we're finished harvesting some castings, and I've transferred them to 2 new starter bins. All right, so I'm all done. I didn't need to fully harvest this original bin right here, this established worm bin, okay? I have just enough castings that I need for now to spread to some of my vegetable plants, some tomatoes, some peppers, okay, just enough. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to add some fresh cardboard so that they can continue to flourish, create more worms. Because one thing I did notice about this particular bin is that there's a lot of young worms in this bin. A lot of young worms. Some are, maybe a week old. Some are maybe a month old, but they don't have a clitellum. My memory, I believe 12 weeks old when a worm hatches. It takes about 12 weeks to develop the clitellum, and that's when they're mature. I need to fact check that, something like that. So about 3 months old, but a lot of worms lack the clitellum coming from here. And I've transferred them to my starter bins, okay? So these castings is gonna colonize the fresh bedding on here. And also there's worms. Worms, they'll mature and colonize the rest of the bin, increase the population, okay? So this is how I started my 2 new worm bins. Nothing fancy. I don't need a fancy worm specific bin, worm farm, worm tray. It's just storage totes, no holes or anything. And in a few months, 3 months, they're just gonna be the same thing like this, okay? So the sweet potato that I transferred is in there. I've split them up, and gradually I'll add some more, vegetable scraps that we accumulate we don't need. They're kind of rotting anyway, and I'll transfer them over here, and that's pretty much it. 3 months from now, it'll be late October. I'm sure we're gonna see what we have, the same thing here. They're gonna become established and ready to sift that time. Okay. The only thing I can do here some more is add some more worms. I have some other bins, established bins, and maybe next week when I have more time, I can sift some more from those bins, okay, and get some more castings and transfer the unfinished castings and worms into these 2 new bins. So to add some more worms in their population, get it to mature a little bit faster and finish the existing carbon. Okay, that is it.